Hello, Narnach here. Welcome back to Path of Exile, the hardcore Breach League. In between episodes, I managed to find the den. It was hiding in a little corner and cleared it. Clearing it gave me a bit of extra currency, which I used to buy a couple of skill gems, because our first goals are just to get the right amount of skill gems. So we now have a desecrate, which we can use to summon some corpses, from which we can erase our zombies. Later on we can also use this to handpick the Spectres we want just by raising a bunch of corpses, and to erase more zombies in battle, so the zombies will die and cause poison clouds. Also, just because we are not at the full complement of minion gems yet, we have added cold damage to our raised zombie, because minion damage support is actually a more multiplier on top of all the damage. The 33% more damage should also apply to the cold damage. So our minions now do a little bit more cold damage, but here you actually see it, 8 to 11. Additional colds. I wonder if the more multipliers then applied later, or if there's something interesting going on here. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The zombies now also hit for cold damage. We also have clarity, just to get ourselves a little bit more mana regeneration, so we stay nicely topped up while chain casting all of these lovely little skeletons and skulls and all the things. Later on we probably don't need it, because the channeling of Wither is going to be relatively cheap. But for now, clarity definitely helps. Also I've now got a bone offering rather than a flesh offering. Bone offering grants our minions a chance to block attacks and spells as long as the aura is up. And again, the desecrate, we put a bunch of corpses down, and then we use the offering to sacrifice the corpses and extend the duration of the offering. For the Necromancer, there is the Mistress of Sacrifice keystone, ascendancy keystone, that you could get in order to also make those offerings affect yourself, which is interesting. Especially with the bone offering, it's rather compelling to give yourself 30-40% chance to block both attacks and spells, and especially the spells component there is going to be relevant later on. Well, given that I want to try to get the poison clouds as large as possible, Mistress of Sacrifice unfortunately is going to be our Uber Labyrinth goal, and therefore we might not actually ever make it to that, because it does rely on you being lucky enough to find enough of the trials to actually unlock all 6 of them, so you can even attempt to do the Uber Labyrinth. Oh yeah, last episode I did mention, like, hey, we're now constrained by dexterity. But why are we equipping things? Well, that's because I bought this amulet off of a vendor in town to get us the required amount of dexterity, because our skill tree doesn't give it to us just yet. We're just following the road here. That's generally the best way to go through here, because eventually the road will lead to the crypt. And the crypt is where the next trial is going to be. Ooh, yellow. Give you a couple more skulls. Death by 1,000 monkey skulls. Well, more like 7 or 8, but it's about the general idea, right? Using some poetic liberties here. Which definitely works if you're making YouTube videos. Just going with it here. So the damage output of our minions is slowly but surely getting to a point where pretty decent. See, the zombies are just one-shotting, well, while ganging up there, taking them down rather quickly, I think. Yeah, so every once in a while they get a lucky one-shot in. But 2 or 3 hits and then they'll be fine. So even the zombies themselves, without support from the skulls or even the skeletons, they are doing a decent job. But of course, having more skeletons mixed in gives us temporary minions. And therefore, it takes some of the pressure off the zombies and you don't have to recast them as often. And convenience definitely has its own value. One of the issues is that we are still running ahead of the pack. So that means that if we encounter mobs, they'll see us and they might think that we are the one to a target and that we will be the one that they have to hit in the face, rather than our minions. But eventually we'll get slightly faster minions, but yeah, just moving about is gonna be useful. Flame dash into this. Yeah. Flame dash, break all the jars. Oh, volatile stormblood. Let's just take a couple steps back. And split set half of the life of our zombies. We can also technically use Desecrate in an offensive manner. It creates a very small poison cloud that deals 8.2 chaos damage per second. But in practical purposes, it's really not gonna kill anything. So most of the time, Desecrate is just there to help you recast your zombies. Mostly in boss fights, where there's not gonna be any corpses from add-ons, for example. You'll be very happy with Desecrate. Though once we are channeling and summoning the skeletons and the raging spirits at the same time, we will have an easier time putting bodies on the floor in the forms of skeletons during fights. So there's not going to be as much pressure on the zombies to be the ones tanking. It's still going to be useful, it's still going to be very handy to have a full complement of zombies. But later on, during fights, I'm especially thinking of the Reso fight. That is one of the boss fights that doesn't have any add-on minions. There's not going to be any stray things lying about. So then just casting a couple of Desecrates in order to get some corpses out will be useful for getting those corpses up. Speaking of corpses, the Trial of Ascendancy is upon us. And that means our minions are gonna die, because minions and traps, they don't mix very well. They are not very good at the dance of traps. I'm not terribly great at dodging traps, but the minions, they have the awareness and the reflexes of a sack of bricks. Yes. So hitting the switch opens up the lever here, so the trap just goes through. Ow, that hurt, that hurt. Oh, just sneak past here. And then we'll just sneak past here. So you might notice that how I'm going through the traps here is a bit of a contrast with my previous characters. Especially with my previous Standard League characters. That is because on Standard you can blunder your way through. The price for failure is that you have to try again. And the upside of not failing is that you get through faster. And most of the time I can wing it. On hardcore I'm a bit more cautious. So I do try to take my time for the trials. Hello there. Goodbye. So let's at least summon some zombies, because they got a little bit injured here. And that's the end of the tunnel. Okay, so we've done the trial. Now the next step is going to be looking for the second level, where we're going to face the bishop. Get a golden hand and get out. So we are now grabbing practical application, which we should have grabbed in the first place, and then next level we're going to grab cruel preparations. So this gets us the decks we would have needed even without the amulet. Now that we have it, we might as well stick with it for a little while longer. Dexterity in this build is only useful for equipping things or for, well, using gems. Desecrate, being partially dex-based, is one. Later on, Stone Golem is going to be another one. That will also require some strength. So, if we're going to go with attribute amulets, a strength plus dex amulet or an onyx amulet that just has all 3 attributes is going to be the best. But ideally, we don't need all that much. Let's see, summon skeletons goes up, minion damage goes up. And there's some blues that just are getting completely massacred. Hey, whetstone. So once we get Convocation, we can summon all the minions towards ourselves. Goal of, there is to get Convocation on a cast when damage taken setup. That's just gonna stay at level 1. So whenever we take 500 points of damage, we summon all the minions towards ourselves. Which in effect means that if something is hitting us, they will face a wall of minions and they'll stop hitting us. Doesn't really work if there's environmental damage. That's gonna be the downside of that setup. But in practice, the whole idea is that we shouldn't get hit because we will be behind our minions, and if we are not behind our minions, then it's something like this, then we are charging into battle. And then the minions just have to catch up, and in that case, Convocation will help them catch up. And because it's no fun clicking a lot of buttons a lot of times, putting it on the cast when damage taken setup means it doesn't take up one of our many skill slots. Wait, this is a new league. Maybe we should actually pick up special flasks. Sapphire ring, nah, that's way too low. So Desecrate is leveling up, which is relevant because the highest level of corpses that it can summon scales with gem level. Currently it's at a maximum of level 24. Monsters in this area are level 18, so it will be kept downwards. And it will only summon level 18 monsters because this is a level 18 area. Blue monsters tend to drop loot that's 1 level above the area. Yellows drop loot that's 2 level above the area. Ooh, okay, so yeah. So, not entirely sure about this, but I got a suspicion that if you raise the corpse of a blue or yellow mob, it will actually be a level higher and therefore have higher base stats. I am pretty sure you won't, however, get the modifiers that are associated with it being blue or yellow. It's just gonna be the level. And we have Elemental Equilibrium, which, well, our zombies do partial cold damage, the skulls do partial fire damage, so monsters will develop a resistance against that. That said, we are a player, our minions are not a player, so it could be that the minions won't actually get affected. No, minions don't seem to get affected, which actually makes sense. Speaking of minions, we are not summoning any skeletons, which is a missed opportunity. So let's remedy that. Let's do the minion, let the minions do the tanking. Let's not actually do the tanking ourselves. But there's all kinds of shadows floating through the air. It's almost similar to how the breaches have the air effects. And it would be interesting to face a breach inside of a corrupted area. Let's see. So defeating the boss in here is of course gonna give us a chance to get a Vaal gem, and I'm always hoping for a Vaal summoned skeletons, which would save us some effort. Let's see, bunch of extra items with quantity, rarity, casts Ice Nova, it freezes me, and it contains 3 additional items. We currently don't have a flask of cold removal, so we will get frozen. So the best plan here is to just also summon a full complement of minions, refresh our zombies, and get some of the other buggers out. And then just recast a couple more and then hit it. So we'll be exposed for a couple seconds, and then we just get out. And we keep chain casting more spirits. Slight bit of risk in higher difficulties. It might backfire tremendously, but at that point you should have your flasks ready. This early, however, the risk was worth it. Just picking up a couple of blue items, and already a bunch of lower level items are getting hidden. And that despite our gear really not being all that great. Okay. It looks like we're approaching a boss fight here. It's similar to the Crypt boss level itself. And this is the shrapnel bearer. It's one of those artillery floating snake thingamajigs. And it's terribly, terribly dead. And we get Vaal Glacial Hammer, which really is not useful for our build. But we'll pick it up anyway, because, well, it is a gem. And I am a hoarder of gems. Who knows, we might decide to ditch everything and go Vaal Glacial Hammer if things really don't work out. Estimating the chance to be really low, but well, never ever exclude opportunities, right? Maybe the 2.5.1 patch notes will say that Vaal Glacial Hammer's damage got buffed by 6%. We would want to be able to get in on that bandwagon, no, would we? We are still looking for the boss of the crypts. Oh, we are just entering now from the sides. Yes. Just pick our distance, then of course we're gonna get swamped by spiders from this side. Just get a couple skeletons over here rather than wherever they were, just to act as our bodyguards against the spiders. Now that our back is clear, they will naturally gravitate towards the boss and murder him. I do keep resummoning some zombies, some skeletons every once in a while, just to prevent them from climbing out, and just to reposition them exactly in the locations where I want them to be. Yeah, we want the golden hand, of course. Oh, it doesn't really sit well with me to leave a rare behind. Yes, we just drop a blue, we pick up a yellow. It's gonna be a win-win situation. So, we portal out, and that means we are done with the crypts. So, Groost. You can buy all these things. The wand we wanna identify might have faster casting or something useful for us. Turns out this is just mana regen. That's the only two relevant mods for us. The other ones don't, but a little bit of resistances I think will carry a bit further, so we're just gonna sell this one. The other ones we're selling unidentified. Yeah, this doesn't have any links, so it's not good. Selling them unidentified to get some orbs of transmutation, because currently that is the currency I require the most. I don't think I want to sell rings though. Okay, this is really not useful. Because we're not doing any damage, and mana rings we're beyond that point now. So. And we'll just put this in for sorting, because I don't have a utilities flask thing just yet. Actually, there's another interesting thing. Oh, portals, they are useful for a couple of things. One is summoning portals. This is tempting. Getting some dex and some elemental resists. Yeah, let's do that. As I was saying,
and we help you.
Portal scrolls are useful. You can just sell them for ID scrolls if you want them. They trade down 1-on-1. But if you're drowning in portal scrolls, and I tend to keep a stack of 10 about, and then after that they go into my stash. But you can use portal scrolls in order to buy orbs of transmutation. And through the wondrous system that the devs have set up, you can't actually do that trade in Act 2, you need to go back to Act 1. So I wanted to show you is that you can buy Orbs of Transmutation for 7 portal scrolls. So in this case we buy 2 Orbs of Transmutation, we go down to 10 portal scrolls. We are happy, but no, we're almost at 10 Orbs of Transmutation, so in that regard we're pretty good. So, are there any gems left that we need? Wither Clarity? I don't think so. There's not a lot of supports. There's the added lightning, added cold, that's potentially useful for adding to your minions early on. I picked cold because we have a green link here, not particularly because I care all that much for that particular element. And the other function, yeah, melee splash might be relevant to put on your zombies as well. Oh, it just makes them attack in groups, but for now we don't have the links, so we're not gonna worry. So let's have a look at the time. Yeah, we'll grab the waypoints. Yeah, we're just gonna venture forth a little bit to the west. And then next episode we'll clear the western forest. We'll have a chat with Creighton to persuade him that we really are his best buddy right now. And after that we're gonna move on. Oh, we also need to defeat Oak. So it's actually western forest and waterways. We're not gonna level up clarity any further, just at level 1, it's good enough to get a little bit of mana regen. And yeah, we're gonna solve the bandits, we're gonna defeat the Spider Queen. So we're getting surrounded here a little bit, so just put some bodies on the floor. We can actually just sacrifice some corpses in order to give our zombies blocking. Helps a little bit against those poison snakes. And we killed all the members of a Bloodlines pack. Yay! I think we also killed a couple of Nemesis bosses already. So the game through achievements is just reminding you of all the different game mechanics that exist. And by now there are quite a bunch of them. Yeah. Oh, actually let's get the Western Forest waypoint as well. It was so quick to do. And we'll have a lot of action-packed things in the next episode. And it would be nice if there were a breach or something, because we haven't had a breach in this entire episode. So, Flame Dash is useful for these bridges. Our minions can't cross it, but if we go far enough, they'll eventually teleport to us. That said, we are fighting close enough that we might as well just re-summon our zombies. And then there's no need for them to teleport. While we put the amulet in, we took out a amulet with a little bit of life regeneration, and you now see that our life is slightly below maximum. That's of course because of the chaos snakes we encountered earlier. Chaos damage goes through your energy shield. At these lower levels it doesn't really matter, because most of the time your life is going to be much higher than your energy shield, even if you plan to go for an energy shield based build. Later on, however, it might be that you'll have like 3,000 or 4,000 energy shield on 1,000 or 2,000 regular life. And then chaos damage really hurts, because if you're used to being able to take 3,000 or 4,000 points of damage and suddenly you can only take 1,000 or 2,000 points of damage of chaos, then it's gonna be painful. And that is where deaths in maps occur. Because before maps there's not a lot of places that actually deal chaos damage. So I got cruel preparations, gave us some life, it gave us some elemental resistances. We're now at between 20 and 30. This early in the game elemental resists don't matter all that much. I'm very comfortable not really focusing too much on elemental resists until Act 3. It's by the time Act 3, Piety is usually where I at least try to get everything above 50%. And then for the Dominus fight I'll try to get them even better. But it's not until there where I really focus, and until then it's just whatever. Having a large enough life pool is gonna be enough. So, a bit of an issue with just one more monster. that kind of mentality really tends to lead you far, far away from the road. So we were fighting some mobs up there and had to pull back in order to just not end up doing a full clear here. The Western Forest. There's one more waypoint here, and next episode we're gonna depart from this very waypoint. There's always a lot of things to go on here, so this seems like a nice point to stop. They have a soul eater there. Absorb the souls of his buddies. But again, if they're dead, they're not really using their souls, so I guess it's just a very good usage of resources. And there is our destination. So, despite this being the Breach League and breaches supposedly being timed to occur just about every 10 minutes, we got a 26 minutes without a breach. So I hope the next episode will be a bit more lucky. But for now, I'm gonna thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again next episode in the Western Forest. Bye bye.